Good, thank you. Probably everyone's deciding whether to sit down or stand up and do jumping jacks to stay warm, but either one is fine. So why don't we get started? Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Mark Tedesco. I'm director of the Environmental Protection Agency's Long Island Sound office. Really happy to have you here. It's a beautiful day compared to yesterday's 50-mile-an-hour winds and snow flurries, but it's a lovely December day. First, we are here to announce and celebrate the Long Island Sound 2024 Resilience Planning Support Program awardees. And first, I really want to thank our town of Rye Town Park Commission for hosting the event here. Gary Zuckerman, the Rye Town supervisor, his full team, Debbie Reisner, who's the Rye Town administrator, Russell Gold, park director for the Rye Town Park, Ruby Tower, the Town of Rye administrative aide, and Patrick Murphy doing AV. Without AV, nothing would work. Before we get started with the formal program, I first really just want to recognize George Latimer, County Executive for Westchester County, and invite him to come up to say a few words.
Thank you very much, Mark. It's a cold day, but there are warm hearts whenever grant money is being given out. And I know that all of us in Westchester County, as a county government, and the municipal governments that are represented here, Jason Klein, the mayor of the village of Rye Brook, Jay Nini, the town supervisor of Mamaroneck, and all of the other grant award winners are very appreciative and grateful for this allocation of resources. I think it's important for all of us to understand that the long-term improvement of our environment comes with studying what the resources and the actions need to be and doing that professionally, and then following it up with the kind of capital investment that will make those improvements that the planning identifies. And so this is an actual critical step in this. Westchester County government allocates money in this direction. New York State does as well. But the federal partnership is critical. It says it right on the banner about the partnership. And my greatest hope, and what I will try to work on in the days to come, is to maintain that partnership, that there is a federal partnership to go along with the state and the local partnership. And if we can do that in the years to come, then we're going to see the continued improvement of Long Island Sound. I well remember the summer of 1987 and hypoxia and what was happening out there, how much better it is today than then, and how much better it can be. So thank you for your leadership. And on behalf of all my fellow grateful local elected officials, thank you for this allocation of resource. We'll put it to good use.
Thank you, County Executive Latimer. So, why are we here? Long Island Sound Study, bi-state partnership with New York, Connecticut, local towns, universities. And the idea is working together to improve water quality in Long Island Sound, the quality of habitats, but also communities. And a big part of the effort recently launched is to support local communities in their efforts to be sustainable and resilient in the face of climate change challenges that they have locally. And what we're trying to do is really a change from the approach that we've had in the past, where often government says, here's some money available, and let's see who can jump highest to qualify to receive those funds. And we've got to recognize that some people are taller than others. I know that well. Other people can jump higher than others. And instead, what this effort is really focused on is seeing where communities are at and having a dialogue. How can we help you solve your local problems, help you be more resilient? And really, it starts with listening, and then starts with trying to make funds available to both implement projects. And a key aspect to the awards we're announcing today is also recognizing that there has to be an earlier step, the planning and development, to come up with tangible, specific project proposals that then can go out for additional grant funding. So it's that working that building from the ground up, working with local communities who know the issues that they have to solve, and then finding ways to work collaboratively to help them solve it. That better their community, that better Long Island Sound. More resilient communities and a more resilient healthy Long Island Sound. Big part of the partnership, EPA is working with Sea Grant, both the New York Sea Grant and Connecticut Sea Grant. Becky Shuford from New York Sea Grant, Sylvain DeGuise, I'll introduce them up in a moment to talk about their programs. And we've got a great core staff of folks, the Sustainable Resilient Community Extension Professionals in Sea Grant. I want to run through their names quickly. Many of you have been working with them. Sarah Schaefer-Brown, working on Nassau County lead. Elizabeth Hornstein from the Suffolk County lead. And Sarah Powell in Westchester lead. And that's what we're here in Westchester, a lot of projects in Westchester. We also have Deborah Bebu working with Western Connecticut communities, and Sarah Schechter from working with the Eastern Connecticut communities. So again, this is sound-wide all around the shores of Long Island Sound. That team has developed resources and tools. LongIslandSoundResilience.org. It's a great resource for communities to go to, and you've got somebody to follow up specifically with if you have questions to start working on how to develop, how to take the problem that you have and then conceptualize solutions and find grant funds to implement those solutions. So it's been a multiple-step process. This is the first set of awards under the resiliency planning support. So we're really excited to see these projects go forward, to hear about your successes and what you learned through the process. I have to love this program because today is the first day to announce the second round. So it's like the bell just rang on the first round of the boxing match, and now we're going right into the second round. No rest. So celebrate that you got this award, but start thinking about how you're going to apply for the second round. We're announcing more than $1 million for 15 different communities, and there's zero match, which is rare for assistance programs. I know that makes it enormously attractive. I want to at least recognize we're able to do that because the program has other partners that have provided match for federal grants. So again, it really reflects this larger partnership effort. We thought this was so important that we needed to make funds available without that match to really, again, try to generate the interest and support to really launch this program and make it as successful as possible, and to really try to take advantage of funding that's available both in the federal government, state government, variety of different sources, while it's here, while it's available, to help you get solid proposals in to take advantage of that funding. So I'm not going to go through the details. I will turn it over to Sylvain and to Becky. They're going to give you a little more of the detail about the proposals. But they have a variety of different topics, right? So this climate vulnerability assessments, habitat protection on wetlands, to reduce flooding, deal with flooding, watershed-based plans, again, working with a host of different partners. So let me introduce Becky Shuford, Dr. Shuford, Director of New York Sea Grant, and she'll talk a little bit about some of the New York projects.
Thank you, Mark. That was a really good setup. And I want to thank all of you brave souls who've come out here today. It just shows your dedication to the Long Island Sound and to the communities that live around it. And yes, I'm Becky Shuford. I'm the director of New York Sea Grant, and really proud to be here today. Just to say, New York, and I think I can speak on behalf of my colleague Sylvain DeGuise a little bit, New York and Connecticut Sea Grant have really been proud to partner with the EPA to support diverse priorities of the Long Island Sound study over multiple decades. And that includes supporting a robust and impactful research program that provides information to help us manage and restore the sound. developing and implementing influential outreach and education programs as well. And most recently, as we're here to celebrate today, to support the development of capacity to really help execute goals and objectives of the Sustainable and Resilient Communities theme of the Long Island Sound Study Comprehensive Conservation and Management Plan. And I would just let you all know there's a new version coming out of the CCMP, as it's called, soon. So I would take a look at that and see what the goals and objectives are sound-wide for the next, 10 years, I think, Mark, right? And so this particular aspect of the partnership, it was initiated by New York and Connecticut Sea Grant about 5 years ago in partnership with EPA. And this was done with the recognition of the growing need that we really needed to work with the Long Island Sound communities to enhance available resources and information and tools, and also capacity within communities to support coastal resilience. And so with that, a working group of Long Island Sound Study partners, and I really want to highlight that, that this was a huge partnership effort that was really guided by many of the individuals that have a passion for and love for the Long Island Sound. So a working group was established, and it defined key priorities related to helping Long Island Sound communities achieve goals for sustainability and resilience. And they continue to guide the work of this effort as well as we move forward. And so Mark mentioned the 5, what we call SRC Extension Specialists, Sustainable and Resilient Community Specialists. There's actually going to be a 6th one coming on soon, thanks to the support of the EPA in the New York City, Long Island Sound coast. So that's going to be really great to help even take it further. But those folks that were introduced to you, they've taken on responsibility. Many of you here know Sarah Powell and all the great work that she does with you all. So they've really taken on responsibility for implementing the activities and the programming to achieve the priorities, including the development of and the implementation of this really innovative resilience planning support program. So I think you will find that the projects that are supported through this program, they're going to equip communities with actionable plans and innovative solutions through really transformative resilience initiatives that address climate vulnerabilities while promoting long-term sustainability. So without further ado, I'm not going to get into a lot of the detail about the 10 New York projects that were funded in this first round. You have more detail in the slate of projects that either have been handed out. Sarah has them back there. But I am going to list them off, and also I think we have some representatives from some of those programs. When I say your name, if you're here, just please raise your hand so people know who you are. But we're going to start with, of course, the Rye Town Park Commission. And we've got Debbie Reisner, the town administrator, and Gary Zuckerman, supervisor here, and also Ruby, who's going to be doing the grants management on this. We also, the project contractor, I don't know, is Laura Kenny here? There's Laura right there. So Laura's one of the folks on with Indigo River who's going to be on the project. And that project is to conduct a climate vulnerability assessment for Rye Town Park, where we are right now. So that's really pretty exciting. Next project, Seatuck Environmental Association, which is in Oyster Bay, New York. They're going to be doing an assessment of climate change impacts on the Beaver Brook and Mill Neck Creek Marsh Complex and produce a conceptual design, and GZA is the contractor. There's also St. John's Episcopal Church in Cold Spring Harbor. Very appropriate to say Cold Spring as that wind kicks up. Cold Spring Harbor, their project is to develop a conservation and restoration plan for St. John's Church Marsh and Pond, and their contractor is GEI. See if my fingers can feel to turn the page. Also, we have a project with the State University of New York, SUNY Maritime, and Rob Craffa, are you here? There you are. I was looking for you. So he's the waterfront director at SUNY Maritime, and Indigo River, again, is the project contractor. And their project is to assess local climate impacts, conceptualize project ideas, and conduct preliminary planning for the SUNY Maritime campus. So if you have questions, ask Rob afterwards. We also have with the town of Mamaroneck is Supervisor Jane Elking-Iny here. Right back there. Yay. Thank you. And L.K. McLean Associates is the project contractor. Are either Keith Macera or Ryan Cusack here? There you are. so both there. So that project, they're the project contractors, and they will be conducting a climate vulnerability assessment for 3 municipal properties in the town of Mamaroneck. We also have the village of Larchmont. Again, LK McLean is a project contractor there, and that project is to determine causes of recurrent flooding in the Fountain Square area of the village and identify flood mitigation strategies and priority projects. Moving along to the village of Laddingtown. They will be developing a conservation and restoration plan for the village, their marsh complex adjacent to Frost Creek, and their contractor is Land Use Ecological Services. We also have the village of Mamaroneck, and is Kate DeHeis here? There we are, right there. Hi, Kate, thanks for being here. And she's with the Committee for the Environment, and Assemblage Landscape Architecture is the contractor, and the project is developing a landscape design plan for a segment of proposed village-wide greenway along the Mamaroneck and Sheldrake rivers. So ask Kate about those projects while you're here. We also have Village of Pelham. Is Teresa Mohan here? All right, so maybe not, but she's a trustee of the Village of Pelham, and Biohabitats is Kevin DeHams here, right there. So that's Biohabitats is the contractor, and that project is conducting a natural resource inventory for the village. And one more project, last but not least, the village of Rye, not too far from here. Is Mayor Jason Kine here? There's Mayor Jason Kine. And so their project, being with the contractor from SLR, is determining the causes of recurrent flooding in the Rich Manor Park area of the village, identify flood mitigation strategies, and priority projects. So all those folks are here, so after we break, maybe have a chance to speak with them. And I just want to say that New York Sea Grant really is very honored to be a part of this collaborative, it's highly collaborative capacity building program, working with our EPA and our Connecticut Sea Grant colleagues, also with the members of the working group that I mentioned earlier, and they've really helped guide the priorities and implementation of this initiative, and also the next round that's just announced today. Also, of course, working with the communities, the towns, municipalities, organizations, associations, all of you. It's really, really inspiring and incredible to work with you all on these projects. And you're making a difference on the ground every day for the residents and constituents that you work for and with. So I thank you very much for that. And we really look forward to seeing the empowering impacts these projects have. So thank you all very much. Really do appreciate everything. And I think I'll turn it over to my colleague, Sylvain de Guise.
Good morning. I once heard a politician saying, everything's been said, but not everybody has said it, so I'll be brief. We have a number of awards that were made in Connecticut as well. The Alliance for the Mystic River Watershed is receiving funding to conduct a climate vulnerability assessment, and Foss & O'Neill is the contractor. Groton Long Point Association is receiving funding to develop conceptual designs for priority projects, and GZA is the contractor for this. The Southwest Conservation District is receiving funding for an update of the 2011 Norwalk River watershed-based plan, and Ty and Bonds, the contractor, and Rick is here. Hi, Rick. The towns of Essex, Deep River, and Chester are receiving funding for a vulnerability assessment for the towns of Essex, Deep River, and Chester. Foss & O'Neill is the contractor. The town of Madison is receiving funding to develop a climate resilience plan for the town of Madison, and FHI Studio is the contractor. We're really proud to be involved in this endeavor. We're trying to understand your needs and work with constituents to develop projects. We're announcing awards today. This is not an end. This is a beginning. We understood that you had needs, that you needed to develop plans, and we're not going anywhere. We're staying here. we want to keep working with you to not only develop plans, but keep acting on those plans. We have a grant writing assistance program to help you develop proposals to get bigger awards, to continue the implementation, and we're happy to continue to be here. Reach out to our extension professionals. They're here. They're meant to be here in communities. They're meant to be working with you. This program was developed in response to your needs, right? We had a grant writing assistance program. People were not quite ready to write grants. People needed to develop concepts a little bit better, a little bit bigger, in order to be able to write the bigger grants to move towards implementation. So we look forward to keep working with you to act on those plans that are being developed. And like I said, we're not going anywhere. So keep talking to us, keep talking to our extension professionals. And with that, I will turn it back to Mark.
Thank you, Sylvain. Thank you, Becky. You've been great partners on this program, and I have new admiration. You both came up here and spoke without gloves on from the notes, so really impressed by that. What we thought we would do is just have one of the recipients come up to talk about their project, and I'd like to invite the Town of Mamaroneck Supervisor, Jane Elkindeny. She'd like to come up? Fantastic.
Good morning. I am not going to talk without gloves or a hat because it is cold, but I will be brief. I just want to thank you so much for this award. As a coastal community, flooding is one of our most, highest priorities and our most serious problems that we face. And this money will enable us to study 3 identified locations in the town that are particularly prone to flooding and develop hopefully some kind of strategy to reduce the severity and frequency of flooding. So I'm not going to say any more, but just thank you so much, and I'll invite you to our coastal community when it's warm.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Well, thank you, everyone, for coming this morning. And I really want to thank the recipients for your interest. We're going to actually bring up, but let's bring up, we're going to want another speaker. So, Gary, come on up. Gary Zuckman, the supervisor of Town of Rye.
Thank you, Mark. Can you hear me, or do I have to do this? I just wanted to say that we're very thankful to be able to be one of the first round of the awardees for the grant, and thank you to the EPA and to Sea Grant and everybody else that's been involved. We are very anxious to get this study done and to receive the result of the park's climate vulnerability assessment. As you've heard, we're one of 6 communities awarded in Westchester County. And as a park located on the Sound, it's important to understand the effects that climate change might have on our park and our community. We have been severely impacted, as have other communities on the Sound, by Superstorm Sandy, by Hurricane Irene, and similar storms that have occurred over the recent years. We are all aware that climate change is real and that it has devastating effects on all of the Sound Shore communities. The development of the climate vulnerability study will allow us to understand some of the potential effects and help us work towards developing projects that will help in curing or at least mitigating the effects of climate change. As Mark has mentioned, very often communities have been competing for grants, some jumping higher than others, some being taller than others. And it's very important to understand that Long Island Sound is an ecosystem unto itself that stretches from Connecticut to New York City. We on the Rye Town Park Commission in the town of Rye. And let me just say, the Rye Town Park Commission is made up of the town of Rye, the city of Rye, and I'd like to acknowledge Jamie Jensen, a council person on the city of Rye who's here, the village of Rybrook, the village of Portchester. We have, over the last number of years, attempted and continue to do on our own mitigation of the effects that have occurred. However, it's really important that we all band together under unified banner with the EPA to address the effects of climate change from Connecticut to New York City. And we encourage other communities who have not applied to apply for the second round so that we can all advance together and make our communities safer for all of our residents. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gary. Just one thing, I really want to pick up on just what you said at the end. It's so important. We want to learn from you all as you implement these projects, and then we learn from each other and share that with other communities. So again, building on this concept, we're in this together. We all have a stake in protecting and restoring Long Island Sound. We all benefit from it, and what you accomplish helps everyone else learn and to share those results. So thank you all for coming today. Thank you for your work, for your interest, your dedication in Long Island Sound. And as a reward, we've got a field trip after this. So at 11 o'clock, we're going to do a field trip at Edith Reed, and really hope people can join us. It's going to be to look at, I think it's a living shoreline project. So there's really nothing like seeing work that's been done and learning firsthand from the people who are doing the work. So please join us if you can. If not, find a warm spot and some hot coffee or some other beverage. Thank you again.